It's Monday, September 29th, 2025. Time for another Fireside Chat with Dizzy. I'm not sure where the fuzzy little puppy dog is. She might be in my tent because, yeah, we did camp out again. Horses have deserted the round pen. I'm going to have to be putting out some hay for them later on today. But getting this done a little bit later because the first thing I did this morning after getting up and whatnot, I fed the horses because they were all looking at me saying, "Where's our food?" I called my daughter. 34 years ago today, I was in the hospital having her. So I had to call her up. She's in Germany and wish her a happy birthday first thing this morning. So I'm a little late getting this all going. But I miss seeing her. My son's in Florida. I miss seeing him. But you get used to being alone. It's not always easy. There's times when I really miss my family. Been really missing my husband lately. It seems hard to believe it's almost 3.5 years since I lost him. And just some days I really wish he was here. But speaking of my husband, I did spend some time this week. Oh, a yellow jacket. I'm being buzzed by a yellow jacket right in the face. Getting rid of a lot of old papers that he had from I don't know how many years ago. For the first time in years, I feel like I'm really moving forward with the house. I was admittedly not getting a lot done a lot of days because you start watching videos, you start playing games, and next thing you know, an hour or two has gone by. So I have come up with a schedule. I get up in the morning. I set my timer for an hour. I'm normally up by around 5:30. And that hour is the only time that I allow in the morning for playing games, watching videos, yada, yada, yada. When the timer goes off, I shut it off. I then work on the house until 8:30, at which time I have an alarm goes off, and that tells me it's time to eat breakfast. I eat breakfast, come out to the farm, and on normal days when I get here, I set a timer for 3 hours. And since I'm only feeding the horses once a day, that's basically the only amount of time that I need to get them fed, get the chickens done, work with them if I'm working with them, and do anything that I'm doing out at the farm. And then I go home, take another hour break, again, videos, games, maybe take a nap depending on how I'm feeling, and work until like around 4:35. Depending on the day, I'm either going to be working in the house or I'm going to be working outside. I have gotten some work done out in the yard. Then I'm having dinner. I wash dishes, get a shower. I'm finding that it works best for me to have my devotions in the evening, so I don't have anything pulling on my time at then. And then I've got the rest of the evening to do whatever I want and get to bed by normally 9, 10 o'clock. And I've been sleeping better too since I've been doing this. So I am definitely seeing progress in the house. I've gotten more done in the living room. I started working in the den. I started working in the basement. So that is work that, like I said, I'm glad to have done. I had a small plastic unit of drawers that had a bunch of old papers in it. I went through that whole thing, and a lot of the stuff needed to be burned. A lot other of it had to be recycled. So that's done, and having that metal plastic container empty, I brought that out to the farm, and I'm using that to put camping supplies in. And another thing that I did, I had bought off of Amazon a while ago some spice containers. They're all the same size, and they had these little holders. It holds 6 of them in each one. I put all my spices in them, have them all labeled, and it makes the kitchen so much more organized, and I actually have room for all my spices now without having to stack anything up. And I have them all in alphabetical order, so that makes it easy when I need something. I just have to pull out the appropriate container, and it opened up space for storage. And that took me a bit longer than I would have liked to, but it's done. So That's the house. Horses. Let's see, Misty's back in the field. Licorice is up by the run-in. They've already been fed this morning. Worked with Licorice some in the round pen this week, and she was back to her normal bratty self. She had been seeming like she was calming down, and she's back at being a brat. I have decided that as much as I wanted to try riding her again, it's probably better off if I wait until we get down to Kentucky. I am out here by myself. If she bucks me off and I were to get hurt, there's no one here. I don't want to take that chance. So, like I said, I'm going to wait until we get down to Kentucky. Because then, I'll have Mom H there and she can help me. We can figure out whether it's the saddle or whether she's being a real brat. I had been going to buy a new saddle. The saddle I had ordered is not available until January. So at that point in time, then I will decide whether I'm going to get the saddle I was looking at or a different one. And I'm hoping that once we get down there, maybe I can even find somebody that would like to ride her. And see where we go from there. Because while technically she is big enough for me to ride, she's also kind of small for me to ride, if that makes any sense. She's not anywhere near as long as Misty. And the size saddle that I'm using on her, it's like there's not much left of her back. So, and I'm not getting a pony saddle for her because, she's in her 20s. Once I lose her, I would not be getting another horse that size. And I've also been doing some stuff to keep her out of areas she doesn't belong in the field. I'll be talking about that more in another video this week. Chickens. Well, this morning when I got up, I heard a different rooster crowing. And it sounded kind of funky. And found out that one bird that I was thinking was a really pretty hen, but then I was getting to where I wasn't sure about it, is indeed a rooster. And I had one, small one, a banty size, that had turned out to be a rooster. And then I got the two roosters, swapping them with somebody else, so that gave me 4 roosters. I had bought half a dozen chicks when I had only one chick hatch out of an incubator, which I didn't want to raise alone, and then it died. And out of those 6 sex chicks, they were all supposed to be pullets. One of them is definitely a rooster, so that gives me 5 roosters. I will probably take one of the roosters. These are Jersey Giants, 3 of them are Jersey Giants, and I will have it for dinner at some point in time. As Jersey Giants get to be fairly big, and it's one reason why I was thinking of doing the cross, because then I can raise some nice sized birds for butchering, especially extra roosters. So that's where I am with that. Let's see, Misty, I haven't talked about her. I did work her in the round pen one day, and she's still giving me attitude. I did have a lesson this week, and I really, really, really need to work on using my legs. It's something that would help me tremendously. Not something that I learned. And, with my right leg being the problems that I have with that, it's not necessarily as strong as I want it to be. But we did have a lesson. It went semi-okay. We did do some more jumping. She even started cantering at one point in time, which I haven't cantered since shortly after my mom died. So that would have been 2019. I think June 2019 I had gone on a trail ride and we were cantering on the trail. So that is also the last trail ride that I went on. And I did go by myself. It was only for an hour. And I haven't been on another trail ride since. But this Wednesday I'm skipping my lesson and going with a friend, and we're going to go on a trail ride. But fire's almost out. got more of my outhouse done. I've got a couple videos that I need to shoot about that. One I'll get shot this morning. The other one I'll probably get shot later today. I'm not sure, but outhouse is almost done. And I do need to bring out one piece of wood from home so I can do one thing with it, but it'll be done by this week. And that is so nice, able to use it almost properly. I still, of course, need to get a handle on it so that I can open and close the door properly, but I'm happy with how it looks, and I'm really liking it. And once it's all done, I'll talk a little bit more about it, and why I even bothered doing it, since I'm planning to move. And I will talk at you later.